so beautiful, but they don't do anything like trying to make sure that I can see my reflection in the visor of an enemy mech or anything like that.
Yeah.
They don't waste a bunch of time and money and resources on all these weird fidelity things that just aren't necessary for a game like that. They just make it tight controls, incredible gameplay, really good story. Heck, it's one of the best stories that I've experienced in a game over the last few years. That's a couple outliers, of course. There's some really good ones that are out there.
Yeah.
But 90% of it was from text. Like it was just a pop-up on screen and a voice.
Well, that doesn't say a lot. I mean, fuck, like most of those text-based adventure games have a better story than any AAA American game. I'll tell you that. And like the big difference to me, like you know what the real shocker to me was with Yakuza. I was playing that Yakuza pirate game, and I was like, wow, this is actually a complex storyline, and it's not super black and white, and it's interesting. And the characters are complex. And then I've been playing Avowed as well, and it's just sad. It's really just sad.
That was it. No cutscenes or anything like that. It wasn't necessary. They didn't need that because they just focused on it being pure gameplay. And man, is it so...
Yeah, no, the other game like that is mouth washing. Like I remember because like I was even talking to Emmy about this. Like she loved that game, and it's like one of the things that I would say really defines whether a game is good or not is how much you think about the game after you play it. And like that's the kind of game that like you think about long term because of how complex and how good it was. And like that's really the way I see it. What's your excuse for Yakuza having a low player base? I don't know. I don't really have an excuse. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it just didn't resonate with a lot of people. Like, Armored Core 6 didn't have a crazy high player base either, honestly. Yeah, it didn't. That doesn't make the game bad. Like, so the thing is that, and it's disappointing though. Like, you bring up a good point, don't you? Because like, I would love it if Armored Core 6 peaked at 1 million players. Because if it did, we'd probably already have Armored Core 7. And we'd have, you know, like Battle Core and, you know, Mech Core and all these other games. Now, we did get Mecha Break, which is nice, but I want more of them.
Good. That's what players want. That's what these Eastern studios have been delivering. No nonsense, all gameplay. Give the players what they need.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's why they've been succeeding, and that's why some of these Western games have been failing. Because, you know, I think they got comfortable. They had a stranglehold on the industry. They had more money.
It's not that they're comfortable, it's that they're insulated. They're insulated by these, by the media that they work hand in hand with in order to push narratives that are basically player unfriendly. That's the difference.
Developers, more resources, more experience, but now you have some of these studios that are popping up in some of these other countries that aren't under their influence. A lot of them are really inexperienced, but they got the people to be able to do it, and they're learning pretty quick. Developer tools, the barrier to entry to make a video game is way lower than it's ever been before, and that's a major threat for some of these companies.
That's why so many games are being
that forgot how to treat us like customers. And it makes me... I was wondering why Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade had this weird, like, anti-Asian, anti-Chinese rhetoric among games media in a lot of different circles. I mean, like, they had the one person that said, you know, if you bought the game or the people that made the game successful were Chinese nationalists and the anti-woke. The reason why they say that is because it's meant to sound evil.
It's you're the bad guy. Now you're the bad guy. And also, like, I am an appreciator of Chinese culture. I think it's incredible. It's one of the oldest cultures in the entire world. Like, America's 250 years old. China's 3,000 years old. That's incredible. That's amazing. Like, you can appreciate Chinese culture and Chinese mythology without actively subscribing to everything that the current government thinks.
Changing back.
Of course.
It's meant to be disparaging. These countries have a culture that's counter to theirs. They can't let that stand. But these studios aren't just a threat because they counter their culture. They're not just a threat because of the fact that, well, their games are delivering what players want. They're a threat because they have something that the rest of the industry is going to have a real hard time with. They can make games far cheaper and far faster than anybody else in the entire industry. That's going to be a big problem because as they create more games and they overwhelm the rest of the industry, well, the rest of the industry is not going to be competing with them. They're going to be swallowed by them.
That's what's going to happen with AI too. That's why Trump was right. Like I was like, because people are mad that Trump like got rid of like some of the ethical concerns with AI. The fact is that like if the other countries aren't doing this and you're doing it, you're going to lose. That's it. You just lose.
Changing mag.
That's all there is to it. Like I mean, like you can lose with dignity, but usually after you lose, you don't keep a lot of dignity, especially with something that big.
The rise of Eastern studios isn't just a trend, it's a foundational shift in the industry. What we're seeing right now isn't just one or two breakout hits, it's an entire new wave of studios that's stepping out onto the global stage. And the scary part is, for Western developers, they're only going to get better. Most of these companies are still in their infancy, yet they're already disrupting the market. Game Science, as an example, the developers of Black Myth Wukong, had never made a AAA game before, yet they produced a title that sold 20 million copies for only $43 million. Given the average salaries of shift-up employees,
This is like that fucking thing in Iron Man 1. It's like Tony Stark built this in a cave. And you can't build this with $1 billion.
Reloading.
What are you doing?
Cover me. I'm reloading.
Henry Ford asked for consumers what they wanted. They would have asked for faster horses.
Time's almost up.
Changing mag.
Now, what do you think should happen to a person that spams in chat like this? What do you think should happen? And I want you to know that I saw your message previously. I didn't read it. The reason why I'm pulling you up is because you're spamming. It's not like spamming worked. I saw your message the first and the third and the fourth time too. Do you have any last words before you're banished into the Shadow Realm? Awesome. Sure is. 07. See ya.
Stellar Blade cost an estimate between $40 to $50 million. Now imagine what these studios can do once they gain some more experience, more funding, and a deeper understanding of the global market. Unlike many of these Western AAA studios, which have been floundering despite decades of experience, these new developers aren't starting with bad habits. They're building up from a lean, focused, and player-driven approach. One of the biggest advantages for a lot of these Eastern studios is just cost efficiency. The Western gaming industry is drowning in ballooning development costs, with AAA games exceeding $200 to $500 million budgets. We're seeing longer development cycles.
I actually think that a lot of these studios, like I've had the mindset that every single organization or group of people that I've ever been a part of, and like I've ever intimately understood like the nature of their production, I've learned that most of the people that are involved are retarded. And usually a lot of money is wasted by or in service of those retarded people. Like most systems are garbage, most of them can be optimized, and the issue also is that, you know, you have the bureaucratic entropy, where you need managers to manage the managing managers. And this is like obviously multiplied when you have HR and other types of, you know, identity groups that are trying to make the company pay to keep them effectively on corporate welfare.
Higher failure rates and lower margins, yet somehow these guys keep spending and inflating their budgets even more instead of actually refining their gameplay. In contrast, Eastern studios are operating on a fraction of the cost, yet delivering polished, high-quality games that rival or surpass that of their Western counterparts. And I think the reasons for this are pretty straightforward. They have a focused design philosophy. Eastern studios are prioritizing gameplay first rather than overproduced cinematics and unnecessary bloat. Their teams are more efficient. They're not building massive bloated development teams that take years to onboard and years to manage. Their production is more disciplined without the need for endless games as a service monetization.
This is again what I was saying before about the studios that look like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Models, they're just focused on delivering
I'm just
a
saying.
complete experience. And what's really scary for a lot of these Western publishers is that not only are these Eastern studios going to get better at their jobs, they're going to get more efficient over time. There's no denying that in some of these Eastern countries that they have lax labor laws that allow for faster, more demanding work cycles. It's not a good thing from an ethical standpoint, but it's an advantage when it comes to pure production output.
It is
beyond that, something else that works.
This is something people need to understand, is that if other people are doing something and you think that it's unethical, you either need to do that unethical thing or you lose to them. Because the reason why cheating is against the rules is because it is effective. There is no form of cheating that isn't against the rules generally that isn't effective. So you either play on that level or you lose. I remember this was true with RBGs back in Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria. Is like you had to have a proxy. You had to do this. You had people that were DDoSing constantly. You had people that were kickbotting constantly. People that were botting constantly. And like if you didn't have this, then you would lose. Now, I decided to just quit the game at that point because I thought it was weird. But a lot of other people didn't. And so like that's it. Even easier with screen peeking? Yeah, exactly. So integrity is optional? No, integrity is not optional. Integrity is guaranteed not to exist in the highest level of competitive economics. In any sort of extremely high stakes competition, you can guarantee that integrity will not be present.
Is that workplace culture in many of these Eastern studios rejects the Western industry's obsession with toxic positivity. The idea that all work must be praised.
11 strategies for praising employee work without causing team resentment. I don't think this is a problematic, thing.
Criticism must be soft, and nobody can ever be called out for doing a bad job because in Eastern studios, criticism is direct and result-driven. If you mess up, you're told directly. There's no hand-holding, no excuses, no performative social media activism. Employees are expected to improve. Bad work doesn't just get a pass because it aligns with corporate social agendas. The game is always...
I think this part is true, too. I do, because, I feel like there's a big component where a lot of people can't take criticism. And I've always said this before, I remember whenever I would raid lead or whatever, is that if somebody can't take criticism, I just kick them out of the raid. Just kick them out. Who cares? Get rid of them. There's no reason to tolerate a person like that. You can't deal with a person like that. If their ego is more important than the team's goals, then get them out. Now, if you're dealing with an employee, I think that there's a lot of tact and, personal... and you guys can ask anybody that's ever dealt with me, ever in the history of dealing with me, nobody's ever had a bad experience. And again, you can take that to the bank. Ask anyone, right? I could be aloof or unresponsive, but have I ever been rude or hostile to somebody? Literally never. Never. And again, ask anybody. But my point is that criticism is not an attack. And I think that the focus with a lot of people is that people get too personally invested into things, and it becomes hard to criticize them because of that personal investment. And I think that's, again, the narcissism. I think that the West, and especially America, has a huge narcissism problem. And I think that narcissism problem manifests itself in the prevalence of gambling, actually. I think that the amount of people that are hyper-focused and hyper-fixated on gambling, one of the reasons why is because they think they're special. They think they're the ones that's going to make all the money and they're going to win. And so, that's really a massive, massive component. And I think that hinges on narcissism.
Is the priority. Personal beliefs and cultural narratives don't override the responsibility to deliver a great product. Compare this to the West, where some developers are spending more time policing their communities rather than making better games. You've got studios that are hiring based on ideological alignment rather than skill, fearful of offending social media mobs and constantly engaging in PR firefighting.
Well, it's very obvious that this is the perspective, right? You never see anybody in the gaming industry that's talking about... a lot of people in the gaming industry talk about politics, and they talk about, political opinions, etc. But you never hear a single one of them say anything positive about Trump. And you could say, oh, well, that's because Trump's bad. But, okay, sure. But if you take a sample size of the population, 50%, 30, 40% actually, realistically, don't think Trump is bad. How is it that every single one of them over there thinks that? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they're hiring... and they're basing their interactions and their what's the word? The interactions, their coordination and who they're dealing with, association with people that ideologically align with them. And anybody who doesn't ideologically align with them gets what do you call them? They get alienated. It's an echo chamber? Yeah, it's an echo chamber. Massive echo chamber. And so, like, how does that happen with, like, the video game industry? There's obviously, like, it's not like this happened naturally, because if it happened naturally, you'd probably see a spread that's similar to what the general population is. But no. Why is that? It's common sense.
Rather than focusing on making something great. Eastern developers don't have that problem. There's another huge advantage that these Chinese studios have in particular, and it's access to one of the largest gaming markets on the planet, while Western studios don't. Many Western AAA games don't release in China due to strict censorship laws or a lack of appeal to Chinese audiences. That artificially handicaps Western studios, while Chinese studios have no problem releasing their games both domestically and internationally. Look at Black Myth Wukong. 75% of its sales came from China alone, yet it still pulled in millions of Western players. Now imagine what happens when a Chinese studio makes a game that's even better, with higher global appeal, and also at less than half of the development cost of a Western AAA game. That's where things get really dangerous for Western developers.
Yeah, and also this is only going to multiply with AI. A lot of studios are already using AI as technology to enhance their games now. And, like, obviously a very, very light form of it is frame gen, right? Like, this is effectively like a degree of AI. And so the fact is that this is going to become more and more common. So as you have a regressive culture in America that is against AI, that hates AI, and they don't want to use AI, they're going to protest AI. And then you have China, let's say, or Japan or Korea, or anywhere else really, that's using AI. And they're out, and if AI is better and it's producing higher quality results at a higher ratio in the free market, that product will win. And it will kill the product that does not take advantage of it. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter what the, like, you can have whatever moral opinion you want on this, but at the end of the day, the biggest clothing manufacturers that are like Nike, Adidas, all of these places, as far as I know, their shoes aren't here being made in America, okay? And these are massive companies. You want to compete against that? You want to hire people in America and pay them the same wages? Go ahead. Have fun.
Developers aren't just a threat because they're making games that players want. They're a threat because they're only going to get better at it. They're going to get more experience. They're going to get more funding. They're going to learn from their mistakes. They're going to make games faster, and they're going to make them cheaper. Western studios can barely keep up as is, and they're already at a financial disadvantage. The fact that Eastern studios can produce high-quality games at a fraction of the cost and twice as fast is likely going to create an entire industry shakeup. If a Western studio needs $300 million in 6 years to make a game, but an Eastern studio can do it for $50 million and in half the time, who do you think is going to win in the long run?
Well, who would you want to invest in? Like, this is another component, right? Is like you have people that are investing in these companies. Like, if you're a company, you know, and you're an individual even, right? Like, who do you want to invest in? You're going to want to invest in China. Goodbye Western video games. Yeah, they are killing themselves. And they are. Like, it's undeniable that this is happening. And a lot of them will act like they're victims in this, and in some cases they are victims in this, but it doesn't change the reality of what's happening. This is what's going to happen, and they're going to be out of a job, and they're not going to be able to get a job back.
Is that how I say your name?
May see this as spelling doom for the industry as we know it. I see it as a rebirth and potentially the start of something greater. Bigger Western studios will be forced to do better, to be better. They'll have to be smarter with their spending, focus on the right things, and going back to paying attention to the audience and meeting the needs that aren't met. Sure, some studios are going to get caught in the undertow, but many studios are going to restructure and reprioritize, and with the rise of some of these Eastern studios, it's going to come new perspectives on how to make games, how to create new genres, and how to create customer satisfaction. You know, one of the things I brought up in my review...
I think that's very true, is that you will have Western studios that are able to adapt, but some of them that have been too infected with like these kinds of people will refuse to adapt, and they will end up destroying their entire studio. And you know, that's all there is to it. That's just what's going to happen. Western will just buy Eastern studios. You can't do that in a lot of cases, right? I mean, like, it's like in some cases that's true, in some cases it's not. Western studios don't have the same efficiency as China. They can't compete. It's not just that. I think that another, as I said before, like with AI, I think that AI is going to be that next multiplier effect that's going to create a rift in between Western and Eastern game development. And I would say American and non-American game development, again, like, it's going to create a rift because of the cultural ramifications that AI has here. And I think that the cultural ramifications that AI has, I don't think that average people give a shit. I don't think they care at all about AI. The average person doesn't care about somebody stealing their furry art on DeviantArt and then reselling it without the $15 commission. So you're not going, because, like, I mean, really, think about it. So let me get this straight. You think that the society that buys phones that are made from slaves and cobalt mines and clothes that are made from sweatshop workers that get locked inside their warehouse at night with nets in between the different floors so they don't kill themselves, you think this studio is now going to have enough empathy to care about you having your furry art stolen and then repurposed by AI? You think that's where they're going to draw the line? How retarded can you possibly be? Nobody cares about this. It's totally artificial and it's created by Twitter.
Fucking wow.
Real average people don't care about AI. Twitter artists and virtue signalers on social media care about AI. So when these video games and this content hits a mainstream audience and the AI quality is better, it beats it. And that's it. That's the bottom line. And that's what matters. Would you advocate for banning games that moderate free speech inside of America? I don't know. It depends. Yeah, why are we talking about competition between game devs? People are going to buy games regardless? No, that's not true. People only have a select amount. We live in an attention economy. People will only buy a certain amount of video games a year, and they will only have a certain amount of money a year to buy video games with. So if certain games are a higher value and people feel like they are better games, those games will be prioritized. Of course.
Oh, Jesus. Shit's off.
Wasn't Palworld made with AI too? No, they were completely unfounded lies.
Black Myth Wukong was how appreciative I was of being able to learn more about Chinese culture. A lot of people outside of China have little to no context on its legends, history, and mythology. Many Western audiences just have a surface level understanding at best. Vague concepts like the Great Wall, dynasties, and martial arts. Games have the power to change that. Black Myth Wukong wasn't just a game, it was a bridge. It introduced millions of players to a rich cultural history that they may have not have explored otherwise. This is where things get really interesting for me, because while exposure to new cultures through art can be a beautiful thing, China's gaming industry isn't just any industry. It operates under the watchful eye of its government. And that comes with baggage. No references to Taiwan, Tibet, Tiananmen Square, no sensitive religious or political imagery, no blood, suggestive themes, or excessive brutality. This isn't just speculation. Western companies have already censored themselves to stay in the Chinese market. Blizzard suspended a Hearthstone player for supporting the Hong Kong protests.
That was crazy. Like, I remember that happened. Oh, man, I remember that. I get your point, but in the sweatshop examples, there's a large degree of separation. People would argue that AI threatens more people, which increases in the possibility of having a negative impact with it. You actually think that AI threatens more people than people that worked in the textile industry? You really think there's more artists than textile workers?
Studios regularly edit their films to appease Chinese censorship. NBA teams scrambled to apologize after comments supporting Hong Kong went viral. Hell, there's a ton of things that you can't even say in Marvel Rivals in-game chat.
Yep, true.
I know a lot of people are going to have concerns about China's growing influence in the gaming industry. We're all aware of Chinese censorship.
This is, as I said before, this is unironic soft power. In the same way that American people have the choice to buy video games that have censorship from the CCP in them, Chinese players also have the choice in a lot of cases to buy video, or not, maybe not Chinese, but like a lot of other countries have the choice to buy video games that have, you know, American, you know, gender politics in them. And so the problem is that these things just simply are not popular with a big group of people. And I think that inside of America, you live in an ecosystem where you can't criticize or bring up any sort of like question about this. But the issue is that in the rest of the world, the majority of the rest of the world, not only do they not care about this, but a lot of them actively dislike it. So when you go to the free market in a global market, people are going to care a lot less about not being able to type a word in chat than they are about a video game being designed in a way that feels like American HR is in the room. Like, one of them matters a lot more than the other. We are adjusting to their censorship. I agree. I think the censorship is problematic too. But at the end of the day, I disagree with it, and I think that players should voice concerns about it, and I think that players should expect and hold these games to a higher standard, and players should not tolerate being censored by, like, you know, Chinese games. But at the end of the day, that's not my decision to make. I can't make anybody else carry my cross. That's something that I believe, but it's not something that I can make anybody else believe.
Propaganda and soft power strategies, so it's understandable to wonder.
Let's get home,
Xin em chào anh nha. Tôi đang nạp đạn. Thấy bắn đạn.
He's down.
Có chuyện cao. Đang nhận. Rồi xuống cái hạch. Xin em chào anh nha. Tôi đang nạp đạn. I'm out. Nạp đạn. Nạp đạn. Man down. Reloading. Man down. Cho một giây. Nắp đạn. Cho một giây. Cứu bác sĩ. Nắp đạn. Mình đang nắp đạn.
Even a barrel stuff with its eye would survive.
Thấy bắn đạn.
Jesus, Jesus.
Enemy down.
Tôi hết đạn rồi.
Cover
Có
me.
chuyện cao. Đang nạp. Tôi hết đạn rồi.
Target neutralized. Pursuit, I'll be through here.
Said, does your God have a big ass dick? 'Cause
Free for all. Do what is necessary, comrades.
Прикрой меня! Перезарядиться! Прикрой меня, я перезаряжаю! Прикрой меня! Перезаряжаю! Прикрой меня, я перезаряжаю! Меняю магазин! Прикрой меня, я перезаряжаю! Меняю магазин! Перезаряжаю! Меняю магазин! Прикрой меня! Перезарядиться! Меняю магазин! Прикрой меня! Перезарядиться! Меняю магазин! Меняю магазин! Меняю магазин! Прикрой меня! Прикрой меня! Перезарядиться! Меняю магазин! Перезарядиться! Перезаряжай! Перезарядиться! Перезаряжаю! Перезаряжай! Прикрой меня, я перезаряжаю! Перезаряжай! Меняю магазин! Перезаряжай! Меняю магазин! Перезаряжаю! Меняю магазин! Я перезаряжаю! Перезарядиться! Перезаряжаю! Я пустой! Меняю магазин! Перезаряжаю! Прикрой меня! Перезаряжаю! Прикрой меня! Я перезаряжаю! Меняю магазин! Я перезаряжаю! Меняю магазин! Прикрой меня! Я перезаряжаю! Прикрой меня! Перезарядиться!
Инструкции провести штатные заставки ворот призора.
Перезаряжай! Я пустой! Меняю магазин! Прикрой меня! Я перезаряжаю! Перезарядиться! Я перезаряжаю! Прикрой меня! Перезарядиться!
Time almost done.
Прикрой меня! Меняю магазин!
Доступности 1 и 2. Следующих указаний.
Get a medic over here!
Free for all. Execute the mission.
Hostile contact! ¡Se me acabaron! I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. Changing mag. Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading.
Hostile RCXD spotted in your area.
Cover me, I'm reloading. Head down. I'm out.
Enemy Valkyrie above.
Reloading. I'm out. Changing mag. Changing mag. Reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading. Reloading! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! Changing mag! Medico! Enemy down over here! I'm out! We need a medic! Cover me, I'm reloading!
Muerto confirmado.
Reloading! I'm out! Cargando cargador. Reloading. Reloading. I'm out. Reloading. Contact. I'm out. Changing mag. Cambiando cargador. Cúbreme. Changing mag. Reloading. ¡Se me acabaron! Cambiando cargador. ¡Ahora! ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! Cover me, I'm reloading. Cambiando. Changing mag. Cover me, I'm reloading. Recargando. I'm reloading. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Reloading. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. Se me acabaron. I'm out. I'm out. Recargando. Enemy spotted. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading.
¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! ¡Recargando!
I'm out. I'm out.
¡Cambiando cargador!
Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Changing mag. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. I'm out.
¡Cambiando cargador! ¡Se me acabaron! ¡Recargando! ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando!
Time's almost up.
Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading.
¡Enemy!
reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! Cover!
Free for all. Fight to the end.
¡Se me acabaron! ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! Cambiando cargador. ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! ¡Se me acabaron! ¡Recargando! ¡Se me acabaron! ¡Recargando! ¡Cambiando cargador! ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! ¡Cambiando cargador! ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! ¡Cambiando cargador! ¡Cúbreme que estoy recargando! ¡Se me acabaron! que estoy recargando.
Time's almost up.
Whether gaming is going to face that same fate. But call me an idealist, I think that China's success in gaming might actually lead to a crack in that armor. We're already starting to see signs of that shift because Black Myth Wukong, while the game was toned down in China, in its Western release, it still featured intense action, blood effects, and darker themes. This suggests that Chinese developers, when targeting a global market, are prioritizing Western audiences' expectations over domestic restrictions. If they want games to...
Well, they're targeting... They're making the game, obviously, like, there's localization for every game. Like, you know, I think the famous one that a lot of us, probably a lot of people here played WoW, like, you know, you have, like, the little, like, tombstones in China rather than the skeletons because you're not allowed to show human bones and stuff like that.
Sell worldwide, they can't afford to be completely sanitized. The more success they find outside of China, the more likely these studios are to push back against censorship, or at the very least, create separate versions for those games to appeal to broader audiences. And this is what makes the future of Chinese gaming so fascinating to me, because as their industry grows internationally, the pressure to loosen creative restrictions is only going to increase. Right now, China's biggest weakness in this market is its own government-imposed limitations on creative expression. If their developers want to compete
He's actually bringing up a really, really good point here, is that as these companies become more competitive, they will probably drop a lot of their restrictions. And I think that you're already seeing that. You saw that, like, I have two examples, right? I mean, obviously, like, Saudi Arabia has tried to make, you know, efforts to be more liberal and to be more accepting so they can attract a more global audience of people to come there for tourism. And then the other example of that is Hoyoverse. So Hoyoverse used to be MiHoYo, and they rebranded in, I think, Singapore or something like that in order to, what do you call it? Money over everything. Yeah, that's the way it is, right? And so these companies will actually become more even-handed with this stuff as their popularity increases because they'll want to hit a broader and broader audience. That's it. Yeah, Singapore's popular proxy for Chinese company. Yeah. But, like, that's really what's happening.
Its level, they have two choices: either ease censorship to stand alongside Western and Japanese studios, or remain shackled by their government oversight, preventing them from ever reaching their full potential.
Because this is also another component. I don't think that American players want to be censored by CCP propaganda. I think that American players do not like the idea that you can't say Tiananmen Square. Like, this is ridiculous to an American player. So I think what you're going to see, obviously, is that these games will just simply be localized in a way that don't have these restrictions for American players. And I think that's usually what's going to end up happening. And studios will do that because it's, again, if they can do that, why wouldn't they?
Changing mag.
Concerns about censorship,
Bro, nobody
marketing.
cares. It's not a big deal, but there are people that do care, and it does create negativity. And at the end of the day, people don't like being told what they can and can't say. I think this is a fundamental human behavior.
Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. Reloading. Changing back. Reloading. I'm out. Reloading. I'm out. Reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading. Changing back. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Changing back. I'm out. Changing back. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading.
Care package ready for delivery. Marked it easy. Care package ready for direction. Show us where you want it. Care package ready for direction. Show us where you want it. Care package ready for delivery. Marked it easy.
Changing back.
Care package ready for direction. Show us where you want it.
Changing back. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading.
Care package ready for delivery. Marked it easy.
Reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading.
Care package ready for direction. Show us where you want it.
Reloading.
package ready for delivery. Marked at EZ. Time's almost up.
Changing back.
Care package ready for direction. Show us where you want it.
I'm out. Cover me. I'm reloading.
And I do think that it will matter. And it's undeniable. Like, if you think about it, let's just use a little bit of logic here. Will it create more or less like if you have censorship in your game like that, are you going to lose players by getting rid of it? Obviously not, right? So the only thing that you can do is gain players by getting rid of this. And that's why it would happen.
Influence and industry shifts, there's something undeniably exciting about what's happening. Gaming is evolving in a way that we never could have predicted, and at the center of it all, well, we're witnessing a genuine cultural shift, one that could reshape not only the industry, but the way that people from vastly different backgrounds engage with one another. People love to dismiss gaming as a pastime, but in reality, it's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. It's already overtaken movies, television, and music, and not just in revenue, but as a cultural influence. And with that influence comes power, the power to bridge gaps, to change perceptions, and to connect people in a way that no other medium can. This industry is changing, and as a result, we're going to get better games. We're going to get a lot more games. We're going to see new ideas, fresh perspectives, and experiences. And at the end of the day, that's all we've been asking for.
People are going to get better games in general. I think that's very true. He's right. And this is just going to keep getting more and more powerful. They may not lift censorship. China's going for soft power approach to erode support for Taiwan's defense. Maybe that's true. It's hard to say, right? But the point that I'm making is that when this happens, and this is the case, you are going to have a lot of these games that are probably going to get rid of it, right? And I think that the MiHoYo or like the Saudi Arabia example are two good ones.
Wouldn't it be wild if gaming, not politics, not diplomacy, not think pieces from self-important journalists, was the thing that actually brought us all together?
Yeah.
A shared love for immersive worlds, incredible storytelling, and fantastic games. That was the thing that made us see eye to eye. If art, not ideology, was the thing that actually brought us together.
Scratch one more.
Deep. I know. It's the last time that you guys are going to get anything positive from me for at least
Well,
a
I
few
think
months.
it's always been true, actually. I think gaming is one of the biggest uniting forces in the world. And I think that video games, and especially online multiplayer video games, have done more to erode xenophobia, racism, and other forms of bigotry than almost any other form of media ever has. And now, like, because if you're in a guild, everybody's been in a guild with people that are in different countries, and people get along. And like, even if you're playing with other people, so that's what happens. Music, that's a great point of view. Yeah, maybe music has done more, but I think video games on a personal level do, because you're having interactions with people in that other culture, right? Like if you talk to somebody that lives in, I don't know, Dubai, that's way different than hearing what it's like on the media. And when you make a personal connection with somebody like that, and I think this is especially true even inside of America, like, you know, you're playing with somebody that's like a black guy from, I don't know, some other state. And like, you know, if you grew up in like a place that's like maybe not as favorable to that, you would be able to just like have a conversation with this person and kind of ask the awkward or uncomfortable questions in some cases, and just have a shared purpose and a shared goal. And I think that, like, really in like an abstract sense, and I'm not making a comparison here, but this is just an analogy, is that in a lot of like World War II and World War I movies, one of the main like precedents for it, like I recently watched Fury with my dad, with Brad Pitt. It was an insanely fucking good movie, such a good fucking movie. And a lot of these movies are built off of the idea of guys getting recruited from all around America to come together to accomplish a goal, right? And like that friction between, you know, the preacher religious guy and the nihilist Joe Bernthal character, that right there is the like, that's the essence of the narrative. And the fact that they come together and achieve something collectively is what makes those stories special. And I think that video games do that in a microcosmic way for individual people. You see what I'm kind of saying here? Like, and like that, again, I'm not saying like video games is like being in World War II, obviously, but it's just the same general idea. Band of Brothers. Yeah.
Months starting now. See, this is the reason why I was so upset that these studios never got a fair shake from Western journalists. It bothered the hell out of me because I viewed this as a reawakening. I viewed this as a second chance for the industry to get itself back on track, because I think that's exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see games going back to doing what they used to do before, which is connecting people, which is delivering an experience that customers are looking forward to.
Imagine games coming out
helping
and just
us
being
escape from the world and all of the bullshit that's around us. And honestly, there's so many good things that can come from this. I feel like I've only scratched the surface of some of it. If you think about it on a much broader scale, if you have all these companies that are out there, all these Eastern studios, especially if you're looking at like China and stuff like that, they're going to be able to make games faster, cheaper. We're probably going to get games cheaper because they're going to flood the market.
I believe that when I see it.
And if these games are good, that's even better.
Yeah.
Because if they're flooding the market with good games, what ends up happening is, well, supply goes up, demand is down.
Yeah.
The prices are going to have to come down to meet the demand. We're going to see less microtransactions or cheaper microtransactions. I would hope we're going to see game price.
Well, let's think about it like this. Stellar Blade doesn't have a lot of microtransactions. Black Myth Wukong doesn't have a lot of microtransactions. It seems like Phantom Blade Zero isn't going to have a lot of microtransactions. Many of these video games that are being released for Western AAA game development audiences don't have a lot of these. Yeah, Elden Ring doesn't have any. Metaphor ReFantasio doesn't have any. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink has a very minimal amount, and they're one-time only, and they're not really game-breaking. Like Hogwarts Legacy, yeah. So many of these games actually don't have that at all.
Prices fall a little bit. We're going to see some of these studios tighten their budgets, tighten their britches a little bit, and actually start spending money the right way on some of these games. There's a lot of good that can come from that. And the crazy thing is that we're only seeing the first wave of some of these games. They just announced the Tides of Annihilation. I wrote that one down.
That's the Final Fantasy 16 one.
Came out of nowhere, and I think we're probably going to see more of those come out this year. More of those random announcements. Oh, hey, by the way, here's
it's very obvious, and I heard this from somebody too, is that apparently the success of Black Myth Wukong really kind of woke a lot of people up in China, and they're like, okay, holy fuck, we actually can make a game that sells really well in America. We can actually make a global success level game. And so it basically like massively supercharged their gaming industry because they saw that it would actually work. It was basically one of the first times that a big Chinese game like that came to an American audience and succeeded. And it's really the second time, I would say, honestly. The first time was Genshin Impact, one of the big ones there too. And I think Genshin Impact, think about how much that changed the industry by itself. And like after now Genshin, and think about how many Genshin Impact clones there are now, right? Games that function relatively the exact same.
Other game that looks wild out of nowhere with top tier quality. What is this? How does this even happen? And the next year is probably going to be even crazier. I'm blown away by it. Look at the sheer volume of Eastern games that just came out of nowhere last year, and then now they're doing it again this year. And they're probably going to multiply it by next year. I wouldn't doubt it. Especially because they've seen how much money these games can make. Black Myth Wukong brought in a ton of money. Ton. Marvel Rivals is making a boatload of cash. Obviously, the gacha games that they have over there, MiHoYo is making a ton of money as well. So
that's
they see
making
the
a lot.
opportunity in it. They're going to invest in it. And by extension, we're just going to get more games and likely better games because they're going to see, oh, well, games of this scale, games of this quality are what actually, you know, sell. So
Exactly. They sell. A lot of Chinese companies are restructuring, reducing expensive investments into Western studios and loading all that money into cheaper domestic developers. If you're talking about like that one leak that came out, that is just a leak and it's not really confirmed by anybody. But that being said, I do think that's true. Because like if I was China and I saw what the American development studios are doing, why the fuck would I want to put any money into that? It's obviously not making a lot of money, so why the hell would I do it?
We're going to go ahead and make. Oh, the players like this thing, we're going to go make that. This kind of loops me back to this video that I'm planning on doing relatively soon about copycat games, where you're seeing some of these studios take premises or games that, well, you know, other studios have that they may have not done a very good job with, or they haven't handled its success very well. Overwatch being a really good example of that.
Yeah.
I also think that Light of Motrium game is probably going to be relatively.
It's going to be like Horizon, but it'll probably be good because you can actually be in a mech, and it's basically Elden Ring. And yeah, I'm going to play the fuck out of that game. I cannot wait to play that game.
Disruptive. What if, just a what if scenario, the game that, you know, Horizon's tried to come out so many times that it always ends up not doing very well, mostly because it always ends up dropping in the window of some major release right next to it or whatever it might be. I also just don't think people are really all that interested in Horizon. I don't really know why. I think the premise is really cool. Maybe it's just the character.
It's fucking boring. I don't give a shit about it. It's like Avatar. Like, the only reason why Avatar was good when it came out is because of the CGI. The CGI was, like, next level, right? But, like, the story of it was, like, so fucking cringe, just so boring. Like, like, nobody cares about that. Like, Horizon 1's alright. Nah, bro, like, this new game, like, it's just gonna be way better.
Maybe it's PlayStation. I don't know what it is.
Alloy looks weird. Yeah, like, and the main character does look weird. Like, you don't lose anything when you make a character more attractive, but you do lose something when you make a character less attractive. Now, I don't think Alloy is, like, ugly or whatever, but they probably should have made her hotter. They absolutely should have. And I'll say that with any game, basically. Almost any game, making the female characters more attractive will be a net positive.
It's the players that like it, but on a broader scale, for a broader audience, the vast majority of people just aren't interested in that IP at all. But then you have this Light of Motrium. Same premise, just throw in some Elden Ring-esque fighting mechanics.
No. The boss fight they showed, I'm pretty sure every single, but it might have been one special mechanic, was straight lifted from the Fallen Star Beast in Elden Ring. Every single mechanic. It was. You go back and watch it. Now, for me, I think to myself, oh boy, 2 Elden Rings. Other people get mad about that thing.
And things like that. Throw in some mounts and whatnot. And players are going to eat it up. There's something to that. We'll be talking about that soon. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it on social media, spread my soft power and influence. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Catch you guys in the next one.
That was a really good video. I think that a lot of people are downplaying the existential threat that these Eastern game development studios are putting on Western game development studios. Yeah, Chinese games are going to totally blow American games out of the fucking water, and I think that AI is only going to multiply this effect. A lot of people don't understand, I don't think, the power of AI and the amount of like strength that that's going to have and how much that's going to change the ecosystem for these games. It's going to massively fucking change it. And so, yeah. And let's see, you say that, but some Saudi guy in chat's gonna set up a virtual machine. Maybe MBS is watching? Yeah, I don't know. But I just find this to be kind of funny because people can buy the game and refund within 2 hours. Please check out the Legendary Drops of Valve video. Yeah, I might at some point. Here, give the video a like, and I think that this entire topic with like these Chinese games and like the solution to a lot of the like Western weird video games like Veilguard is actually just buying other games from other places. It's not complaining to the devs and getting mad at the devs and, you know, making like, oh, I can't believe you would do this. This is so stupid. No, the real way you want to stop it, stop buying it. Stop giving them money. And if you stop giving them money, they won't exist for very long. And that's how it always happens. Why would somebody want to buy like some shitty new game? I think that Avowed is a great example of this. So like you have the demo for Mecha Break. And Amazing Season Games. This doesn't sound like an American company to me. Amazing Season Games. Let's find out where they're from. We'll go ahead and search Google for it. A developer, where are they from? Let's see. Are they? Okay, oldest gaming companies in China. There we go. Okay, so then 317,000 people playing the game. Even now, And by the way, the game received a lot of negative feedback. Even now, totally bodying Avowed. Avowed is never going to go above 19,000 players again. That was it. Today was the peak. Tomorrow, the decline begins. That seems botted. You really think that there's, like, not that... No, Mecha Break was really popular. People really liked Mecha Break. The first demo was great. It might peak again tomorrow. No, it won't. It's not... You think it's going to peak from a Sunday to a Monday? That never happens unless it's a brand new release, which it's not anymore. It's just not going to happen. But anyway, anyway, Monday's peak. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, like, I mean, just... If the game hits a higher player peak than this tomorrow, what's something that I can bet on it? That it's a good bet. I'm not going to shave my head. Make the apology video? I don't know for what. I mean, like, maybe I could make a, I could set a date for finishing Cyberpunk. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think, like, something better than that. If it beats this peak tomorrow, I will set a date for Skyrim. It probably won't be until after Monster Hunter, but I will set a date and I will meet that date. Within like 3 days. Like, give me like a 3-day window because something crazy could happen within one of those 3 days, so I might want to push it back or forward for a day. But, you know, I will give you a 3-day window. Is that fair? It's not going to happen. It never happens.
I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. Changing mag. I'm out. Changing mag. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out. Cover me, I'm reloading. Reloading. Changing mag. Cover me, I'm reloading. Reloading. I'm out. Reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading. Cover me, I'm reloading! Changing mag! I'm out! Changing mag! Reloading! Changing mag! Changing mag! Cover me, I'm reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! Reloading! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! Reloading! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! I'm out! Reloading! I'm out! Reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading!
5 minutes
I'm out.
to 0 time.
Cover me, I'm reloading! Reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! Changing mag! Cover me, I'm reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! Reloading! Changing mag! I'm out! Reloading! I'm out! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! I'm out! Cover me, I'm reloading! I'm out! Reloading! Changing mag! Cover me, I'm reloading! Changing mag! Reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! Cover me, I'm reloading! I'm out!
Time's almost up.
Cover me, I'm reloading.
Free for all. Make this quick and clean.
Changing mag. I'm out. Changing mag. Reloading. Reload. I'm out. Reloading. Changing mag. Cover me, I'm reloading. I'm out.
Time's almost up.
Taking mag. Cover me, I'm reloading.
I'm out.
Taking mag.
Get ready. Get a medic over here.
I'm out.
Free for all. Defeat all that stand before us.
Я пустой. I'm out.
Перезаряжаю.
Я пустой.
Перезаряжаю.
Я пустой. Перезаряжаю.
and stocks and bonds and trading from its headquarters on the 101st to the 105th floor. He had the top 3 or 4 floors of the World Trade Center, the North Tower of the World Trade Center. And every day Howard got up and went to work early. He'd always go in and he'd go to work early, and he'd be there 6 o'clock in the morning. And as you know, the hit was around 8:45 or something like that, so he would have been there on almost any day